this rock up there? Is that where we made it? Yep, that's the place, Sedena. Weird town around here. We're around there somewhere. Let's go to red 0. Set ourselves up. Yes. Da-da, 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 da-da. What the hell? Okay. And then that was weird. Where were you guys? So we've got the first departure. This doesn't show any borders. None. Not the weather's the clouds are anything to go by. We'll be going into headwinds again. Ooh, right. Let's have a quick look at the windy.com. Oh, today's a good day to fly. Hang on. Look at this. We should be getting some really nice tailwinds today. Ha ha ha! Okay. That's excellent. Okay. Let's go back. So, where's this? That was our, I think that was the original place we were hoping to get to before, or I just got a bit too tired of flying. There's Norseman, which was definitely got some tailwinds going on, but I reckon I'll fly to there to start off with to get some nice views, although how do you set? There's supposed to be a way to set multiple. Can we? No. There is supposed to be a way to somebody somewhere was setting waypoints. I do not know how to. You can swap it around. Oh well. I would like to fly there, then there. Doesn't seem like a lot to ask. What is that saying now? It's what? No. 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 What? not night. Don't you dare start us off at night when I've very much got you set to live. What's this place here anyway? I'm going to set that as the arrival. Oh, hang on. Ah, ha 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 ha. Oh, no, that's good. That's good. Is there anywhere else? Oh, that one could be. Okay, that looks like a proper, maybe a proper runway. Set as arrival. Okay, and then can we go and, oh yeah, and nice. Right, I don't remember that being a feature before. That makes me quite happy. Look, this is back to, so confused. Right. But let's fly this before anything else goes wrong. Yeah, interesting. Happy about that. Very, very happy. I'm wondering if that would let us save it as a flight plan. I'm going to have a look because I've only ever been able to save flights before, which doesn't work very well. That is cool. Okay, I'm glad I finally figured that out. I don't know if that was always a thing. That sure as hell is now. Ooh. Okay, that's alright then. Looks like we've got low clouds, but not right to the ground. Okay, so what we are going to do to start off with, because we don't need a bloody pushback here, we are going to switch that off. Right. That's one of these key combinations. There we go. Please don't walk into my prop. Where are you going? Right. Ah. Right. Mixture does not need. Ooh, mixture needs to be a bit more than that though. Out there. Right.
Yankee Charlie Delta Uniform Traffic Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha is taxiing to runway 11.
Oh, get out of the bloody way, you muppet. It's the wind. Yeah. It's not a 100% tailwind, but it is a bit of a tailwind at the moment, which is good. Oh, there's more fuel over there as well. Oops. It's Time in game just past midday. Ooh, sweet please. Wind is pushing us along quite nicely at the moment. Somehow, maybe like a sail or something. It's probably just the thrust we're getting from the idling engine. It's crazy the prop wouldn't stop turning last night. The wind was just keeping it going, which I'm not too sure was quite realistic, although the way the plane felt on the ground, it felt like a much stronger wind than it was reading on the digital windsock there. Yeah, the compression of the engine should have definitely stopped the prop turning, but it didn't. Okay, let's see, any incoming aircraft. There's the sock there, definitely a decent wind. And depart north, depart south. I guess we'll depart north, seeing as. Oh, hang on.
Yankee Charlie Delta Uniform Traffic Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha taking off runway 11 departure to the north.
Wow. Okay, well we'll head north for a bit and then go south, I guess. Alright. Yeah, it's a decent wind we're taking off into there. Right, let's go then. Four. Yeah, definitely getting. Oh my god. You'd think I would be I'm moving the controls a bunch, but I'm not. Oh my goodness. There we go. It's so hard to take off on this runway. It's hard to land on this runway too. Jesus, that wind. Oh, look at the crabbing angle on this. Wow. That feels way more than 12 knots. Still getting that encoding overloaded thing again. No idea why. Not getting any drop frames or anything. Must be right on the borderline. Right, so I might try and run a little more efficiently on this run to try and make it all the different although so I need more speed, more climb. Yeah, definitely getting the 100. Looking at the ground speed compared to the knots, so it's about 10 or 12 knots ahead at the moment, which is good. We'll lose a bit of that though once we are facing the direction that we're going to be facing. Okay, let's put that back on. Radio back on auto. Don't know why that's highlighted. Right. Ah, this bloody thing's not set up again. There we go. Whoa, why is it facing that way? Oh, this could be interesting. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Had it all wonky in my head for a second. Hey, got that right this time. Nice. Hopefully that goes away eventually. Yep. Okay. Should be dropping. Good. Okay, so although we've got this annoying thing here, it does know where we're going up here, so that's good. I wonder if there's a way to get rid of that. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to check out. Can we now go save. Fly normally. No, it still won't let us save a flight plan. Cancel. That's annoying because hang on, if I go save. Oh, hang on. Cancel. Oh, there we go. You can save flights and flight plans, but yeah. So what's invalid about my flight plan? I don't get it. I don't get it. Looks like people have been having issues with having multiple waypoints in this. Hopefully that's no longer a thing. Yeah, I can't find a way to get rid of that. I don't know if... hang on, bear with me a second. Assistance... navigation aids... See, all the markers are off, so why am I getting... see, that's weird. They're all off. Shouldn't be getting that. Oh well. Go away, marker. Go away. I gun in it. Pop. Obnoxious. I don't understand why they do some of the things they do in this sim. Like, who thought that was a good idea? To not be able to turn that off. It's like, ah! Ah. 'Why can't I scroll that down? Well, that's... Expand that. Can't expand that. Interesting. Minutes. Right. Hey! Yeah, I should definitely try and fly over Pingelly. I'll be, don't know if you're still watching. I was staring at my phone for a bit then. Right, I will be right back. I just need to get the BRB screen up. And there we go. Right, and I'm back. Scunthorpe. I don't think I'm anywhere near Scunthorpe. If you're still there, or if it was about 4 minutes ago. Let's put the... There we go. Ah. No. Still got... No, I got nobody watching. According to that anyway. Still got the marker almost 50 miles out. Let's have a look. Right. Sweet. I wonder why it's saying nobody's watching. I have at least one viewer. Let's have a look at this dashboard. Ah, yes. There's got one person on Twitch and one person on Facebook. But for some reason it's not showing. On the OBS overlay. Very odd indeed. How long till we get to our current destination? I wish that blue circle would bugger off. 23 minutes. Cool. But yeah, Narrogin. I wonder... Let's have a look. So... Can't remember where my final destination is at the moment on this flight. Let's see. Get that up. Interact. So fade across. This is where the last time I was using this map, I was trying to fly from here to Adelaide, ended up in Melbourne though. So now we are flying from Sedona. Oh, look. There we go. It's the airport. And flying over here somewhere. Where were you saying Narrogin? Let's have a look. Right, so Narrogin. Oh yeah. I could certainly hit Narrogin on the way past. I don't think it's there. Ah, there's a Narrogin airport too. So yeah, I can land there for sure. Unless we do end up doing a really long run today. I can't see us making it there today, because that is to get from, to give you an idea, to get from here to around here, or whatever it's supposed to down to here, yeah, so from there to there was about 3 hours. That was against a headwind, but I was also going flat out. I'm kind of cruising a bit now, so to get around here is going to take another 3 hours. I mean, I could, if I was to really burn the midnight oil, I could definitely do that, though I'm not too sure. And we are flying in the direction that gives us a bit more daylight as we fly, but not that much in a little Cessna. So yeah. How long we got now? I've got a number of. I've actually, if I figured out how to get a number of stops, although I ended up getting this bloody thing popping up, and there doesn't appear to be a way to get rid of that. Which is irritating me a little. I think I might go up a little. And get well and truly over these clouds. And at the moment, 78 ounce. Bump that up while I'm climbing. Yeah. It's looking very Australian outside at the moment, isn't it? Oh, that's one thing I was doing as well. I was making myself another hot drink. So I will be right back. And I am back. Right. Decent amount of cloud. It's ground speed at the moment. 129 knots. True speed. So we're flying 9 knots. We're covering 9 knots more ground than our true airspeed, which is nice. A lot better than yesterday when it was pretty much the other way around. Get that up a little bit faster, thank you. Where did I put my phone? There it is. Got a separate chat here at the moment, chatting with my mum who's watching the stream at the moment. Thank you, mum. Pendulous. I have a feeling somebody was just having a laugh. I don't think they're watching anymore. If they are watching, they're being very quiet about it. So that's on Twitch. Probably get here to watch it on Twitch at some point. Help get my numbers up on there. And at the moment, Facebook's fine. But yeah, Pingelly, I can definitely fly over Pingelly. Pingelly's relatively close to Narrogin, isn't it? Let's have a look. We'll do some more map gazing. Here we go, watch this. Oops. Oh, no, don't do that. It's almost messing that up. Where are we? I think I did mess that up slightly, actually. So if I go fade, look at that. It's like I got my own TV studio. Right. So where was Narrogin? It was around there somewhere. Terrible at finding places. Hang on. Go find it for me. There it is. Ah, yeah, Mandurah, Narrogin. Ah, Pingelly's right there. I found it. And Pingelly has an airport. Oh my god! It's so tiny it doesn't even show up. Is there a... what's his name view in this? Satellite. Do we have... can we have... does Open Map really not have satellite views? Yeah, okay, so trainee pilots fly over Pingelly because of the beacon. The beacon? What's the beacon? But apparently Pingelly has an airport, even though it's so tiny. Yeah, on standard cycle. Oh, that's a bit better. So bicycling apparently. Transport. Something in... Is that Swedish or something? Humanitarian map? What on earth is a humanitarian map? I do not know. So it's standard. Why is there... That's really... The planes just land on the road. Hang on. I need to... I'm going to see if there is... I can't see the chat at the moment. Going to see if Open Maps has a satellite view that I'm just too stupid to... Open Maps... Satellite view. Clicking on it, nothing's happening. There we go. Right, so it looks like at least you can get there through the mobile app. I don't see a way of doing it on here, which is disappointing. That's very disappointing. Certainly nothing that... oh, it's a place called openmaptiles.com. Right, well, it looks like we will get back to... I was going to say, if you use the chat next to the video, I'll be able to... I'll be able to see your chats while I'm doing other things, but I'll keep that up. Fade that back to the aeroplane. Oh, 7 minutes until we reach our waypoint. It's getting exciting. This bloody thing's still in the way. Right, let's get another browser source. Okay. Oops. Cancel. Rename. And then und then go copy, paste, set the resolution correctly. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I have a feeling... What the... That changed my... Huh. It just posted my heading there instead of the map URL. I don't know why, because I definitely copied the map. URL. Do it again. Paste. There we go. Hey. And there we go. Go interact mode, and I should be able to move it a bit. So Mandura, where's Mandura? It's there, so it means that somewhere here, I think along this road. Dialing up, Serpentine? No. It's really, really hard to eyeball. It's Pinjara. That's pretty much exactly this line over here. Okay, so what was the place called again? Ah, yes, excellent. Thank you for commenting there. That does make things a lot easier. Right, what was the Narragin? There we go. I zoom in, but where are you? Wasn't I? And now I see Pinchley and everything. Where the hell was I looking? I didn't even. Oh, I don't know. I must. No, I have no idea. I think I was looking down there. Be a bit more zoomed out. It's hard to get the scale of things. So Pinchley. And we can. On this, we should be able to. No, I don't want all your other Google services. I just want your map stuff. Oh, no. There we go. Satellite. Right. Yes. No. There is definitely. There's no airport. No runways. No airfields. There's a field. So yeah, Open Maps has got that wrong. Gets a lot of things wrong, unfortunately. Yeah, I could certainly fly over. And what was the beacon you were talking about? Apparently, I've been quite good at making people laugh watching this. Yeah, I had somebody in stitches the other day. Oh. We're getting there. That line's looking kind of bent. Is that slowly curving that line around now? Oh, that's lovely. Hang on. If we can... Oh, stop it. Yeah, it is slowly just curving it round. Doesn't just go at a sharp angle. That's nice. Yeah, let's have a cheeky look outside. There's the runway. We are just gonna do a flyby of that. Probably could have seen it out the front if I'd been paying more attention, but it's all good. Hang on, I sit up in my... No, I can't sit up enough in my chair to see that. Do you have an aviation road? Yeah, I'm guessing that... hang on, let's have another look at... oh, I've still got the bloody... I've still got the map up. Hang on. I was going to go... No. I'll show you where I'm flying over. Oh, if I can... There we go. So we're just flying over this airfield. It's quite a decent airfield actually. It's looking low detail because we're not close enough. And if we get close to that it will look a bit better. But we are flying at 6,000 feet overhead. So the game doesn't feel the need to load that in. Looks like a bit of a Just a little town down there. Oh, and plane is turning. And I was also, you wouldn't have known what I was talking about. I was talking about here. The waypoint did that. Oh, and it's just disappeared. But did a nice curve instead of just being a really hard turn. So yeah, it's quite nice. But let's have a look at the map. And go back to interact mode. So if I go Pingelly Aviation Street in Pingelly. Hang on. Why is it taking me to a business called Pingelly Transport? I'm pretty sure that's not what I clicked on. There we go. Interesting, because that's nowhere near where Open Maps said there was an airfield. Be interesting to see if there is a nearby airfield located on like in the game, but I doubt there is. Why is it not selecting everything? There we go. Or maybe showing petrol stations. That is just a standard petrol station. Looks like Narrogin and Wagon. What a great name, Wagon. And then White Gum Air Park. I'm honestly surprised there's not a little something a bit closer. You would. Where's this? Beverly. Waging? Nah, it's Wagon. Waging. Sounds almost Chinese. I suppose if it was Wagon, it would be a double G, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's get back to jump in the aircraft. Yeah, it's oh, look at this, flying towards. We should be able to. I think there's still beaches down there at the moment, but at some point, as long as the clouds hold off, we should actually be able to see the cliffs. Yeah, the Great Australian Bight. Yeah, is that where they left her? Like, nah, you stay here. Going on our walkabout. This is where you stay. It'd be interesting to know the real history behind that. If there is, it's got to be something. It's got to be a reason. Laugh if I was right in some capacity. It's like, this is where we keep our women. Oh, where's my drink gone? That's a really good question. Where's my drink gone? Did I leave it in the kitchen? Did I forget to make it? I may have forgotten to make it. I'm just hoping it's not slightly out of sight and I'm about to knock it over. That's also another possibility. Narrow. Oh. So hang on. Which part? So that's a two-worded. That's well gin and narrow gin are two sort of. Are those one word or two words? And if one means woman, what does the other one mean? Does it mean man, or is it something else to do with women? Right. On that philosophical note, I'm gonna go grab myself a coffee. I'm gonna be here for a while, quite a while, and possibly going up to Christie's later. But right now I'm gonna go grab a coffee. I'll be right back. And I found my drink. Also just managed to clip the audio horribly. That was a bit of a shame. Hopefully that didn't hurt too many people's ears. I need to turn that off and fade. There we go. Okay, I found my drink. Where are we? Look at that. And that. Action. Live dashboard. Guess Mum's still watching on Facebook. So somebody's watching on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, blink twice for yes and once for no. No, Mum's watching on Facebook. Got my mum watching. Glad I found my coffee. I was sure I'd made it and brought it in. Did somebody message me on Discord earlier? Getting close. Those are pretty spectacular looking beaches from here, aren't they? I wonder if civilization will ever come out here to the point where people are building around here. Yes, I am glad I didn't knock it over either. That would have been upsetting. Sand dunes. Certainly get some privacy on these beaches. Jesus. Can't be that many places in the world with beaches like this that just have got. I mean, look, there's some roads, if you could call them that. Tracks, four-wheel drive tracks. But yeah, it's just mental. Let's have a quick outside look around. Unfortunately, the mouse movement in this game is not smooth. Bloody waypoint! Go away! I mean, that's giving you an idea how far we've flown at least. It's almost 126 nautical miles. Bam, there it is. Which I think you could just about double those to get your kilometres. I don't think it's quite double, but it's getting there. But yeah, that's a bit of an angry looking cloud there. Let's have a look. I know I've looked this up before, but I cannot for the life of me remember. No, not nanometers, nautical miles. Did I? Nautical. I think I may have. I'll just scroll. There we are, nautical. No, NM. Yeah. So 1 kilometre is 0.53 nautical miles. Can we do that the other way around, please? Nautical mile is 1.852 kilometres. So yeah, roughly double it and then take a bit off as a guesstimate. So 1, 2, 6. So 126 nautical miles is 233 kilometres. Back to and this for those watching that don't know, this is all live weather as well, live weather and live time. Let's hop back inside. So local time is 2:05 in the afternoon at the moment. So by the time I'm got to the UK, I'm going to be having to play this game at midnight to fly during the day, which is not a stretch for me, if I'm honest. But yeah, when I first started streaming this game, I'd get up at 6 or 7 in the morning to start. Nice. Well, there's only the one time zone in Western Australia, isn't there, even though it stretches over such a large area. So Yeah, there's going to be a big jump when we cross over that border. Because this clock here should, if I can get that, I hate that waypoint. This clock here should bugger off basically. Oh no, can I? No, menu. Flight plan. Ah, there's the flight plan. Need to figure out how to make those. That was cool though. Oh. The beaches are kind of disappearing there, aren't they? Let's have another look outside. Beaches, beaches, not so much beaches. Yeah, it's getting all cliffy now. That's the last of the beaches there, I think. I'm tempted, very tempted to drop altitude and fly along there. I'm still at 100% throttle. I should back off a wee bit. Because let me churn through my fuel. There we go. It's going to take longer to get where we're going, but we should get there with more fuel. Otherwise, I'm really pushing my luck. Also, probably can lean the mixture out a wee bit. Hang on, let's zoom in so I can see the numbers. We're looking at the numbers here, and we want it to either go up or stay the same. I haven't even touched anything yet, and it's gone down. Let's wait for it to settle. So we either want it to go up or stay the same. If it goes down, I'm sure I heard a slight increase in RPM then, but not perceivable. Oh, look, there it went up then. So running a bit more efficiently. Back it off a bit more. And it's gone down, so I think this does 5 at a time, so there we go. Oh. Hang on. There we go. It's so hard to do gently. There we go. I don't know why they do 5 at a time. It's so many other things on the control are too slow, and this one actually adjusts too fast. But that's pretty good. We should be flying quite efficiently now. If we need to, because we were accidentally going flat out for too long. Then I just wanted to go. I was in flat out mode to climb, but we finished climbing some time ago. along to our next waypoint. So we got 109 nautical miles, which we should do in just under an hour. Those seconds are ticking really quickly. So once that, it's starting to slow down a wee bit. Just trying to work out the ETA. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, so going to be about 57 minutes. How's our wind? Very much a crosswind at the moment. Hopefully that becomes more of a tailwind. Should be getting tailwinds. Let's have a look at what Windy is saying. Although I know this isn't the most accurate thing from what it's reasonably accurate. Where are we? Fade that in. And then direct, yeah. So take that up to 5,000 feet, because I think after 5,000 it jumps to 10,000. And oh, we must be somewhere around here. So yeah, that wind is kind of going all over the place, but it should mostly be tailwind. Not very strong winds though. Which is about right. That's saying 8 knots. It gets quite turbulent coming in there. So maybe I would be better off flying lower. Well, bugger it. Let's fly lower and we'll get, should hopefully get better winds. And we'll see more of the environment. Because yeah, these clouds are getting a bit much. Just a bit much. Right. So just altitude down, we'll do 2.5, and let's go. These clouds are really quite thick at the moment, aren't they? Now, and I will swap back to where you can see what's happening. There we go. We're on a gradual descent down to, oops, it doesn't like letting go of the mouse, down to 2,500. We get about 300 feet a minute, should be. So making us go a bit faster, so time's ticking down a bit quicker. Going to get very foggy shortly. That's a good question. Can't remember the name of the place. So flight plan. should be, what is that? Is that that's YCAG. I'll look up what YCAG is. It'll be a place that I've probably barely heard of. YCAG. A place with a hard to pronounce-ish name. Looks like Kaguna. Should be, yeah, on the Erie Highway. Yep. I will grab it on the map. Hang on. Copy. I'll use open maps, and we can fade. No, it hasn't remembered any of that. Okay. Do you think I can remember how to do it? Could you autofill for me so I don't have to remember how to spell it? It's with a, of course, it's with a U. And go. Yeah, it looks like it's gotten it right, even though it's taking forever to actually show it. Oh, wow, yeah. There we go, there's Kaguna Airport, right here. Which is there. Oh, you can't see the mouse. So yeah, if I zoom in, I've zoomed in somewhere else now. There it is. Kaguna Airport. So, in the center of the screen. I wonder how I can get OBS to show the mouse. So yes, it's a good way into Western Australia at least. And if oops, get this right, I don't think I'm zoomed all the way out. So, what was the yes for? Yeah, it's about a 10-second delay. Oh, there we go. Oh, YECL. So this they don't show any borders, which I'm actually slightly surprised at. You'd think borders would be an important thing on a flight, something that helps you navigate. You can't remember. Right. So after this would be the place I've already forgotten the name of. Kaguna. What's that? YECL. And depending on how we're doing for fuel, when I get over there, I might try and refuel there. Oh, well, that wasn't helpful. YECL. Okay. So that couldn't find it. ECL. Eucla Airport. EUCLA, which I'm going to assume is Eucla. And that is just over the West Australian border. So if I look at what you can see, the mouse now should be pointing. The West Australian border's around here somewhere. Somewhere in this vicinity. So still in South Australia at the moment, but by the time we come over here, well and truly into Western Australia, and then we fly a bit longer. How are we doing for fuel? We've still got 2/3 of a tank. just under actually, just under 2/3 of a tank. And yes, we are now getting a 12 knot. There's arrow points to where the wind is coming from, so the wind is going this way, which will be helping us a little. Yeah, we're doing 129 knots ground speed, which is right there. And if we come over here, we can see that our true airspeed is 122 knots. So we're getting an extra 5 knots boost from the wind, which is nice. And our indicated airspeed is 116 knots. And we're still dropping, so we might get even more of a boost if the wind gets more favourable still. Oh, we are well in the clouds, aren't we? Oh, we should be coming out of them soon. Oh, it's the temperature outside at the moment. Ooh, 3 degrees outside. That is chilly. That's very chilly. Oh, it's 4 degrees now. I don't know what the temperature was when we were up at 6,000. Possibly in the minuses. It should get considerably warmer as we get lower. Yeah. It's amazing how quickly the air temperature does drop off when you get up. So just about having streamed for an hour and 40 minutes. Not too bad. How much time I've clocked up? 17 hours on this plane so far. But that's not quite how long the journey's, well, it's nowhere near how long the journey's taken, because when I had to reset my computer, reset the time here, unfortunately, it's only saved locally. I had about 20 or so hours on it. But yeah, I think I worked out a while ago I've been flying for well over 30 hours. It's getting close to 40 hours now. I go through and had a look at all my videos on this flight. So yes, makes you realise how much more convenient taking a jet is. Makes a big difference. That's what I'm doing. Doing 130 knots ish. Yeah, 132 knots. So what would that be? Just over 200 k's an hour, I think, in car terms. 244 kilometers an hour. Nice. Okay, that is be hard to keep that sort of speed up in a car. Doable, but very difficult, especially over such a, you can do it in a straight line in a plane, so it is definitely, the Cessna is definitely faster. And you get a nice map too. So I could have chosen the other 172, which had even more. Like, this is a really nice instrument panel to have. It's absolute luxury. There is another 172 that is basically like the older, or the version that doesn't have this included. But yeah, I think this helps keep you sane on long journeys. But yeah, I've got all the weights and all that. I've put my it's by default there's a co-pilot in that seat, which you can't actually fully get rid of. If I go to outside view and then zoom in, you'll see there is somebody with me. I don't know why that's not a toggleable thing, but I got rid of all their weight, so that's a ghost person there. I put my real weight in this seat, which when you're not using autopilot means the plane lists ever so slightly to the left. And I've put 50 pounds of luggage in there, so got my coffee in the back and maybe a couple of books. Change of clothes, a few changes of clothes, all the good stuff. So yes, trying to add a little realism to it. Hopefully I'm not running at 100%, am I? No, good. 79%, beautiful. Exactly, well prepared. Yeah, it's funny, I was watching quite a few weeks ago now, somebody doing a journey with their friends from Alaska to, I guess it would be Siberia, wouldn't it, in Russia? Guessing Siberia, not too good with my geography around there. I can't remember the name of the town they went to. They ended up getting a little bit in trouble with the Russian immigration, which made for an interesting video. But they had a much faster plane. It was still a relatively slow prop, but it was a Mooney. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But that still took them about 6 hours of flying. And of course, they also had to deal with the Russian air traffic control, which I tell you what, when it's listening to the radio with the normal air traffic control in places, in Australia or the US, I can barely, most of the time I can't understand what they're saying anyway. And then you add thick Russian accent into it, holy shit. But yeah, you could tell even the pilot was struggling to. It was a bit of a two-way struggle, I think. So yeah, it was a mixture of Russian and English on the over the airwaves. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I do like. Oh, here we go. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I do like the eye candy in this. It's some of the pure simists go, just makes it, it's unnecessary and just makes it more of a game than a simulator. But I don't know. I think it's a. They definitely do try and get the simulation side of things more correct, although little bugs like this would be nice to get rid of. But yeah, it's nice. Very much so. Hopefully I can do a better job landing than I did last time. The winds were really chucking the plane about on the ground. It was terrible takeoff and terrible landing. But which makes a change. Normally my landings are pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. Like an interesting game or simulator. Yeah, it's a bit of both. Yeah, what's the wind's doing at the moment? 15 knot tail. Yeah, 24 knots. Ooh, we're getting like a 10 knot boost more or less. Very nice. And we are at our 2,500 feet. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Love to be able to run this game in its highest detail. It's not too bad. Get some interesting... I don't know if these areas would be much more detailed. A bit of a problem. This line here is obviously not a real line in real life. This is some sort of... the satellite imagery has gone slightly wonky. It didn't adapt it, but there's a road coming around here down there. Looks like a turnaround spot there, so I don't know what this would look like in real life. I think these edges have been softened a little bit too much, or maybe not enough, I don't know. Must be reasonably... there can't be a hard cliff there or anything, because that wouldn't exist. Unless there's a cliff around here that it's not showing, which is quite possible. It's funny, you kind of think of South Australia as being a relatively small state, but it's really not. It's a bloody big place. Been flying across it for so long. Shuck. I've got West Australia to go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Although, that being said, let's have a look. How much wider is Western Australia and South Australia? Maybe about 50%, not quite. A little bit, maybe an extra third. Yeah. Certainly at the point where Perth is. If I was to fly at the widest point, yeah, maybe not quite 50% wider again. Just eyeballing it. It's almost 2 Northern Territories across though, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's a big place. Yeah, it really is ridiculously big. How are we doing on fuel? Yeah, not too bad, I think. Should definitely make it to our final destination without having to fill up. Well, not that we would fill up anyway to do that last hop. Just be a splash and dash. So yeah, 28 minutes. Oh, I'm thinking I probably should adjust mixture a little bit, maybe. Where's the exhaust temperature? Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, keep it. Run it a little bit lean, I think. So what's the temperature like in Pingelly today? outside temperature here has gotten to 6 degrees. Yeah. Oh yeah, 27's good. Don't know what the temperature's like outside. Well, what it is at the moment. It's raining. Raining quite decently, actually. But yeah, the days where we've had sun, it's been pretty pleasant. I think in the low 20s most of the time. Oh yeah. That 3 degrees though makes quite a big difference between 30 and 27 though, doesn't it? It's like yes, 30 can be a little bit overbearing. 27's just kind of nice. Of course, it depends what you're used to as well. Most people here would melt at 27. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 24 is pretty much perfect. Perfect in my book, anyway. Oh, that depends what you're doing. Mowing the lawn, it's nice to have it under 20. Right, so you can still get a little bit warmer. Now I've almost flown 200 nautical miles. Yeah. Ooh, just realised I've got to go switch the oven off. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. Yes. Often a whole bunch of nothing happening on these flights. Oh, I think that is the actual cliffs. Not quite rendered properly. Looks like black beaches from here. I think that's just because the satellite imagery doesn't capture them very well. You can see a photograph of the waves breaking on there. That's cool. Oh, yeah, in fact over there you can just see the edge of where it begins properly. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. We've finally got that. We're in the actual bite now. Oh, and over 200 nautical miles. Hmm. No in-flight peanuts or orange juice. No in-flight movies. Yeah, something like an iPad would be very, very handy on a trip like this, wouldn't it? Was it Ness? Was it Darren? Darren was at the streaming last time, popped in for the last 20 minutes or so, I think, maybe last half hour, and we're doing the old captain speech. And so in this flight's movie will be Aeroplane, you know, the one that the comedy where disaster movie comedy. Oh God, what was the guy's name? Leslie. What was that? Leslie Nielsen? Something like that. Or somebody Leslie. Can't remember his name. Really sort of hammy comedy. Yeah. Oh, bit of a yawn. Yeah, I do. I love the weather accuracy in this. Like the fact you can look on a completely unrelated app and see that the winds at 5,000, 6,000 feet are not that great, but the winds at 2,000 are. You drop down and yep, there's the better winds. Just, yeah, it's mental. Very, very impressive. When I was flying, leaving Adelaide, there was a thunderstorm going. Like, not a huge one, but enough of one. And, yeah, the guy that jumped on stream lived at a place, basically the place I was flying over when he jumped on. And the interesting thing is that I don't know if you saw the website I was using. I put it up on the stream that showed all the wind and all that, the colourful looking website. That didn't show any thunderstorms near Adelaide, or where I was, or even to the west of Adelaide, which is where I was at the time, even though I could see the lightning and hear the thunder in the game. So I asked him if he'd heard any, and he was like, yeah, a little bit. So yeah, I don't know where they're getting their weather data from here, but it does seem to be even more accurate than that website, which is nuts. Wasn't too bad. It was, I say, the winds were actually about the same as they are here at the moment, although they were going in the other direction, which meant it took a lot longer to get where I was going. In fact, I think this airport now is the one that I was hoping to get to, or maybe the one I've just left. Yeah, it was either the one behind me, immediately behind me, or the one in front of me. I was hoping to get there, and it was just, yeah, there was no chance, especially on one tank of fuel. Yeah. But the landing was, yeah, I don't know if I've put it in my playlist, but on YouTube, I've got all my flights on YouTube. Also streaming. I'm streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook at the same time. But Twitch gets rid of them after 14 days or something. Hang on a second. What was I saying? Oh yeah. And yeah, I'll have to. I'll send you. I'll send you the thing timestamped so it goes straight to it. Yeah. If for future things, I'll put up the link in Facebook when I do it, and if you can watch it on there instead of Facebook, that'd actually be really helpful. Because if I get enough people watching on Twitch. Same with YouTube, really, but Twitch is the easier one to get started with, getting to the point where you can start making a bit of money on there. And I think one of the prerequisites is having an average of 3 people watching per stream. I think it's 3. It might be 5 or 7. It's not a huge amount, whereas YouTube has got, much higher requirements. This is something I'm trying to. I still need to make myself an actual schedule to do this, but it's although with this particular thing, it would have to be a rotating schedule because I'm trying to fly during the day, so it's not just because if they were doing this at night, especially around this area, it would be pretty much black outside. You wouldn't be able to see very much at all. So I'm trying to do it during the day while there's still things to see. So yeah, this is going to be rotating. Especially if I do, as I'm flying to the UK. The long way. But after I hit the UK, I'm very tempted to, especially if I do start picking up some more viewers, I'm tempted to take an even more inappropriate aircraft and continue my journey from the UK across the Americas and back to New Zealand. So yeah, but even after I've done that, there'll be other things. There's so much planet to explore, it's not funny. One of the things I was mulling over in my head, in fact, was doing a series where I try and visit possibly every airfield in Papua New Guinea. That could be very interesting, because there's a ton and most of them are on the side of mountains. So yeah, that would be interesting, especially doing it with the live weather turned on, because quite often the weather's not optimal for flying there as well. And also that would be like New Guinea, and that would be a good place time-wise to be able to do the streaming in my day, like during the day for me, which would be good. Oop. Oh, we've got about 10 minutes left to sing. 12, just over 12 minutes, or just under 13 minutes. Alright, I keep bumping the mouse when I try to grab it. I'm getting an 11 knot boost at the moment. Looks like that wind is slowly getting more and more of a tailwind, which is fantastic. It's really, really good. That's me helping so much. Oh wow, look at the way the land is going over there. Must look amazing. Bloody hell. I'd love to do this in real life. Many thousands of dollars to do it, but yeah, it would be amazing. That's you have I was gonna say how yeah, got to play Lotto to win it though. So if a streaming career takes off, yeah, I'm gonna say how very unboomerish of you to be using two pieces of technology at a time like that. I'm loving the terrain around here. Because it's funny, I've driven, like, in fact, it would be in that road there, you can see down there, that it would have driven down with Dad in the old Datsun van. But you miss all this. You don't get to see this. All you just see is just flatness just going out forever. No, definitely not a typical boomer. Although that being said, I think a lot of people are quite biased against the boomers these days. A lot of people don't know what they're talking about. A lot of people consider me a boomer at my age with grey hair and in my 40s. Oh, yep. Yeah, I've been thinking about the trip a lot during this, like the last few streams I've done. Because I flew over, and people called Karen. I know, poor Karens. They haven't. There's a few people have been trying to get a male version of the Karen to stick, but nobody. There's just something about Karen that just, yeah, it does work. So it's just one of those, blonde hair, big sunglasses. Not to speak to your manager. It really does just. It's such a perfect fit. Kevin. Yeah, there's definitely male names that have been associated with, not that any of them are particularly jumping to mind at the moment, but that have been associated with certain behavioural qualities, but nothing quite like Karen. But yeah, I was flying over Tasmania a while ago, and that was I found our old house, Barry. As Dan think then yeah, Trevor's another one. Oh God, what was Nigel? Yeah, he's all right, Nigel. But yeah, Tasmania was amazing. They have they've got different ways of getting the information needed for the terrain. Most of the information here is height data, so that they can get, that coastline goes up where it should go up and down where it should go down and all that, and the mountains and all that. So there's the height data, and then the visual textures are pretty much entirely satellite and aerial photography. And then what they have is AI that goes through, and where it sees buildings, or what it thinks are buildings, it'll put in the appropriate buildings for the area. So if it's Australian suburbs, it'll put in buildings that are Aussie suburban buildings and that. There's definitely like if you go to the UK, the suburban buildings look quite different. They might not be particularly the right buildings for that area, but it's close approximation of what a British suburban building would look like, and the same with the industrial areas and all that. That does a reasonably good job, especially if you're flying. I mean, this is normally the lowest that you'd fly in most areas. But there's another way that they can get information about areas, and it's photogrammetry, they've got this for New York and a few other major cities, where they've had, I guess it's a combination. I don't know if it's entirely done with drones, but it's basically drones and aerial footage put together so that they can kind of construct the buildings. It's almost organic when you look at it. But the buildings, if you go to Google Maps and go to New York, for instance, and there are a lot of other places, but I know for sure New York is done. You zoom in and you'll see that the buildings are just, looks pretty amazing. They've got that in this as well, but because photogrammetry is it's a labour-intensive thing to do. Not many places have photogrammetry data, and it really, like Perth, I don't think there's any photogrammetry areas in Perth, so that's all done with the top-down aerial and satellite imagery. So all the buildings are just put in there by AI, and they haven't gone in by hand and put the correct buildings in. So the buildings that are there at Perth, they're correct height, but they're the wrong buildings. But it looks alright, and if you didn't know what Perth looked like, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a city. And there's some, like certain areas in London, a lot of London, for instance. I don't think there's any photogrammetry in London, which was surprising. But they do have certain buildings there are done correctly, and then the rest are generic buildings that are sort of correct for the area, but not the actual buildings. Flying, I flew to Canberra on the way down the east coast, and Canberra actually had a photogrammetry area, which wasn't entirely it was a little surprising because I've been to like Sydney, Perth didn't have any. Canberra does, around a big chunk of area basically around the parliamentary buildings, and that was quite good. So that was the first photogrammetry I'd ever come across in Australia. And then I made my way down to Hobart, and I landed at Hobart International, and that was the end of my journey for that. Oh wow, look at the cliffs down there. Hang on, I'm going to go outside view because that looks pretty good. Well, those are the best cliffs we've seen so far. Oh wow. Yeah, I think it's because they're not straight up and down. Got a bit of... They managed to get really good data on that. Ah, man, that looks awesome. Oh wow, and you see the way they continue up this way. Oh, that's mental. Actually, is that like a big, kind of almost like a fault line? God, I'd love to be able to have like a time clock that you could wind back thousands of years and watch this area change. That's so cool. Oh, there's the airfield. But yeah, so the next stream, when I was flying out of Tasmania, before I flew out of Tassie, I wanted to try and find our house, and so I flew out of Hobart Airport, flew towards Hobart, and noticed I think it's called the Tasman Bridge. Had a bit of a talk about how that had been knocked down at some point. The Tasman Bridge looked a bit weird. A lot of the time when there's bridges in places, it will just put a generic bridge in. Like, there's no Sydney Harbour Bridge. There's a bridge there, but it's not the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Although I have heard there's copyright issues about that the Sydney or whatever considers it intellectual property, and you have to pay to use that. So there's just a generic flat bridge in Sydney. But the Tasman Bridge was there, but it wasn't really the basic arch of the bridge was there, but it was like it was wrong. There was no pillars; it was just this solid lump. So I thought, it's just kind of gotten that as terrain and gotten it wrong. That's an amazing looking airport there. Has that got like a whole bunch of? It's like a 5-way. There's one main, and then there's branches off. Interesting. And what are we down to? Half a tank? Just over? We should be good. Watch this, got 3 nautical miles. Just make sure it doesn't jump up to a ridiculous amount of miles, but should be good. ETA of just over a minute. So yeah, I thought, before I try and find Collinsville, I knew Dad's old work, Rest Point, wouldn't be too far away, seeing as I was right near the Tasman Bridge. So literally as soon as I started looking around, I spotted Rest Point, and also realised that not only was that that it wasn't just a building there, it was actually the correct building. And the reason it was the correct building was that sort of corner of Hobart was all photogrammetry. It was all like somebody in Hobart must have flown a drone around and done that whole sort of corner of Hobart was all right up until the Tasman Bridge. It was all photogrammetry. So Rest Point was actually really well represented. Absolutely blew me away. So I had a good fly around there. 176 nautical miles. That'll be fine on half a tank. Absolutely fine, I think. Yeah, because we've done 247. We've still got more than half a tank. So yeah, we're good. Probably land with about 20% to spare. And yeah, so then we flew over. Took a little bit. I managed to find the road leading up to Collinsville fairly easily. Managed to identify it. It had helped that a few months ago I'd actually had a bit of a look, because you remember the old shop that I think it was owned by a Greek couple, either Greek or Italian. And we used to go. I remember we used to get was it the Eskimo pies there? Yeah, we'd stop there. It was at the bottom of the hill, and then the motorway was just a little on. They've all the on-ramp and off-ramp section there. They've completely redone that in relatively recent years. I think, like in the last 10 years. They were Italian. Okay, cool. And I managed to spot that. So I spotted the intersection. And I spotted that shop is represented there. It's like this silver-roofed building. Renato. Was that their last name, or? Oh wow, I don't remember any of that. That's amazing. I remember it was quite a small shop when we first got there, and then they had like a complete renovation and made it a lot bigger. Still relatively small, but yeah. Yeah, so I found that, but the road leading up from that fairly quickly kind of disappeared into the trees. I couldn't really follow that road, so I was trying to eyeball it. And it was actually really, really hard to find. The sim does tend to overdo the trees a little bit. In areas that have trees, it goes a little bit crazy. So that really didn't help. I ended up looking on the map. I was, getting close to giving up, trying to find it, and had another look on the map. So I thought, I'll give it a go again. Still couldn't really find anything definite, and I was like, bugger it, wasting too much time. So I started flying out, and then I literally looked out my window, and looked straight down, basically at the road that ran by the school. And I recognised the pattern of the buildings and the road there. I was like, oh, that's it. And so I did a bit more flying around, just getting my bearings and pointing out. It was actually it was that and the road where that single lane bridge that went over the river we got our water from. Recognised the curves in that road as well. But even seeing that, it was surprisingly hard to locate our house because it was surrounded. Basically, it had a whole bunch of trees on it that shouldn't really have been there. It was obviously from satellite imagery just showed possibly like a whole, but like the holly tree would have been there because that's still there as far as I'm aware, and probably some more greenery around there. So I just decided, oh, trees, we'll just put trees here. But and the old house was basically represented by like 3 or 4 buildings kind of squashed together. Oh, hey, bud. And so it was definitely there. It was definitely the building, but it was kind of covered in trees, and the garage was represented there, and Smithy's old house across the road was fairly well represented, at least from altitude. Just would have been a fairly generic looking house. But yeah, it was it was cool. I was really glad that I found the old house and this. Yeah, that was quite cool. So yeah, it's and yeah, once my head had sort of locked in on where everything was, it became so much easier to spot all the other things like the neighbours' houses and that. But yeah, the trees were definitely a little bit overdone. Man, this ridge line is absolutely fascinating. The fact that this goes all the way to the coast. You see so much geography in this game. So what are you up to today, bud? If he's still there. What's that? What is that pattern down there? What have they got? Go outside view. Bizarre. It's definitely the main road going there. Looks like just people pulling off the road. That's interesting, road going up there. So many. That is bizarre. Trying to check that out in Google Maps. So we got ETA 75, 75 minutes, so we'll be there. I think that's the last one. Yeah, it is the last part of the trip. So actually, we're in Western Australia now. Yay! Hello, West Aussie. industrial. Yeah, you'd almost, because I think there's a railway line going down there. Let's have a look. We shall get the map up and have a look. Doink. And doink. Get rid of that. I'd like to get rid of this thing here as well. Oh, there we go. We got rid of it. Right. Also, really do need to work on getting the. Ooh. Ooh. Isn't that a fascinating looking thing? That's really fascinating. I take it, is this an artificial lake? Oh, there's patterns. Right. That is amazing. So, oh, look at all these. Man, fascinating. Fascinating. Must be the road there. Western Australia. There we go. So we're going to be fairly close to the border. Yeah, that's the one we just passed. There we go. There's all those. How high can the resolution get? Oh, that's it. And they kind of start. Yeah, some all the way along. But they're very, very distinctive along this bit. I don't know if it's where trucks are pulling off or it's just because it wouldn't take, because the area is so dry and that it really wouldn't take much for these. They're not going to grow over quickly, are they? But yeah. How fascinating. Getting a bit of turbulence. It's the wind, it'll be the wind coming off this ridge. Google Maps doesn't seem to show rail very well. Let's yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes you fly over certain things, you can look up online, like what was it? There was a place in South Australia, a nature reserve. It was a really interesting, I suppose, mountain formation. I don't know if they were technically mountains, but certainly by Australian standards, they were sort of mountains. Yeah, really interesting. It almost looked like the ground had tilted. Yeah, like somebody had sort of smacked a really crusty pie and tilted the, crust had broken and tipped up. And yeah, it was a sort of green, lush-looking area too. And it was relatively localized. There were a few lakes around it and that, but it was just this spot. And yeah, have I still got? think I have the window open anymore, but I looked it up. Let's see. Just having a look through my history. I do not see it. There we go. You helped me get my 100th message on Restream. I don't think that matters too much, but it's nice to have little goals accomplished like that. I see a bit of a glitch in the matrix there. We've got just over an hour to go. 67 minutes and 22 seconds. Covered a lot of ground on this one, which is good. It's very good. Find that place that I flew over. Now, was it? It must have been on the way to Adelaide. Maybe. Was it leaving? Oh, actually, it might have been. Oh, that's a good question. Ah, no. It was in Victoria between Melbourne and Adelaide. A place that I think is called Grampians National Park. Which is interesting. There's a few videos people have made out there. I don't think it's a hugely well known. Awesome. I'll see you when you get back. Hey! Is it Camlish? Did I get that right? I seem to confuse people when I'm checking my phone. This may have been and gone. I just need a little ding on the only I can hear when somebody posts a message. Would be nice. Great. Now I've got Share song stuck in my head. Be careful what you see on Facebook. Although that being said, that would not be a bad song at all. Right. Welcome back. Had somebody else briefly pop in for like 10 seconds, but I was looking at my phone and I didn't reply quickly enough, so they buggered off. That's the problem when there's not many people in chat. You stop paying attention to it for brief periods of time, and it's when you're not paying attention is when they come in. But it's very hard to just sit there staring at the chat for 4 hours without any interaction, so it's very helpful when I do have somebody chatting, because then if somebody else comes in, I'm going to notice them. So very, very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, it's not a biggie. I think most people these days have got the attention span of a fruit fly, so. Oh, 51 minutes to go. At least you can see it all on the map now. As much as I can zoom out, unfortunately. No, we're doing good. We are doing good. Following that road pretty closely too. I was directly overhead it at one point. So does it make sense considering all the towns along here where the runways would be? Yes, yeah. Okay. Almost inevitable that IQ is gonna drop in some places. Especially as life becomes less challenging. As they reckon that very, very early humans actually had, on average, a higher IQ or higher intelligence. Heard somewhere anyway. Well, I think IQs on average are going up, but I'm trying to remember, it wasn't necessarily that people were getting more intelligent. Something more about what we were learning, abstract ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, all the abstract stuff we're getting better at doing, at responding to the tests But yeah, but our actual overall intelligence might slowly be dropping. Probably is slowly dropping. Further away from the road. Yeah. Certainly complex maths. Yes, not much to report on with the flight at the moment. Definitely. Wonder. I think next stream I should definitely, hopefully, definitely make it to Perth. Although, yes, I will. I think flying to Narrogin along the way is a good idea. And if I'm really knackered by the time I get there, then that'd probably be a good place to. Could be another good place to end the flight. At least I'm well and truly into Western Australia now, which is great. Yeah, I think it would just be a slightly longer flight than what I've done today to get to Perth. So yeah, and about what I've done today to get to Narrogin. So Narrogin will probably be a good place to fuel up a wee bit. Yeah, I haven't seen much useful information on the elections, the US elections. Just that they seem to be very close. That apparently Trump was calling for a recount in at least one of the states. But yeah, whoever gets in, I don't think things are going to get any better. Very emotional, embarrassing. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That really doesn't surprise me. That's and yeah, if Biden does get in, I don't think that's gonna stop the protests or the emotional stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if it got worse. I also could quite easily see I can't remember her name now, but the potential vice president taking over shortly afterwards too. Was it Kamala Harris? I think she'll end up being the one in charge. Yeah. Oop, dropped my phone. Oh, about it is Kamala Harris, isn't it? Something like that. It at least rhymes with that. So you're talking about her taking over? Because yeah, Biden's faculties, like people were giving Trump shit about his grasp of reality, but and saying that he was suffering from dementia and that. But yeah, I think if you look at the evidence compared to Biden, he's really very much losing it. Well, there was, I think, good candidates in the Democratic side that got pushed out again. Seems the Democratic leadership doesn't actually want a decent candidate. Yeah, no, all the good ones keep getting pushed to the side. I can't remember the bloody names at the moment. There was an ex-military ex-military lady, and I can't quite remember her name. And there was an Asian guy that would have been good, or considerably younger too. And they were people that had good ideas. They didn't seem to have any dodgy shit in their past. Biden's got heaps, despite the fact that just people just ignore, like some of the stuff I hear said. I end up keeping my mouth shut though, because it's so not worth getting into a debate with people that just don't want to listen to the facts. But yeah, it gets to me a little bit. So yeah, I go out and fly my aeroplane. Oh, yeah, well there's people, I mean that's part of the reason that Trump was hated so much, is that yeah, he might be a businessman who's got, corruption here, there and everywhere, and is he's not exactly one of the people, but he's no politician. He didn't know anybody, and bloody, he wasn't well established with all the people that were actually running the place. He was hated by both sides. I don't think I've ever seen them try so hard for so long to remove a president. I'm slightly gobsmacked he wasn't assassinated. But could definitely have seen that happening. I think they realised if that had happened, they probably would have really, or tried and failed, that would have embedded things even more. Yeah, possibly. I think yeah, I honestly don't know. It's easy to give the US shit because they're constantly in the spotlight. You start shining the spotlight on other countries, they don't start to look so good either. Oh, amongst the people, but not amongst the officials. Yeah, yeah, it is tricky because there's there should be about a 10, possibly even a 15-second delay between me talking and you seeing it on the stream or hearing it on the stream. Um, it is interesting to get on different subjects, though. It's like you can do that quite easily when you're just kind of cruising through the air. Not with the wise words, the words about the spotlight, putting the spotlight on another country, and yeah, yeah. A lot of people get very smug about their own country in comparison to the US, but yeah, it's easy to forget. It's actually it's one of the good things about having moved around a bit. Um, is how the vast majority of countries out there think they're the best in one way or another. That's the best place to be. You hear that actually even on here occasionally, getting people from other countries and that, and hearing what they have to say about things there. Uh, Western countries do also tend to be incredibly self-deprecating in some ways, and quite often in the wrong ways too. I think sometimes what you strive for is what you're often most critical about yourself for. I think Western countries are pretty good for personal freedoms and people's rights, but yeah, we seem to be the most critical about our like, not just critical, but literally saying that we're horrible at these things when really we're not. Some of the best countries in the world for that. Don't get everything right all the time. Like, would have been great if they were on a strong path for legalizing weed over here. Would have been nice. I'm sure it'll happen one day. It'll probably take a decade or two now, which is a hell of a shame. But yeah, as angry as that might make me, and it makes me want to cuss out New Zealand and call them a bunch of backward wankers and that. But no, it's that would not be fair. It's we can be backwards in some things, but overall, New Zealand's a pretty damn good country. I think overall the US is a pretty decent country too. It is going through a rough time at the moment. It's basically a bit of it's a low-level civil war at the moment going on over there, and I'm hoping for their sake it doesn't get worse. Hopefully it gets better, but and the media has a hell of a lot to answer for that too. They've been flaming things up. It's a lot of people have a lot to answer for. It's not always the most, not always the most obvious. People love to blame Trump for everything. I don't think it's. I think Trump on his own couldn't have caused this. Oh, it's been shocking. It's it's a bit of a conundrum with the media as well, because you've got you know, people on like, you've got those that think nothing should be state funded, and those that think pretty much everything should be state funded, and then everything in between, of course. But you find, of course, state funded medias will have. Whoops, how did I do that? Press the space bar apparently. State funded medias will have their own bias. I mean, even, you know, BBC's got quite biased in time, but even if you look back to the good old days of the BBC, even they had their, you know, biases back then. And you got like Al Jazeera, Australians, ABC, and all that. They've all got their own spin on things, but they are one thing that they're probably more immune to, and this is where private media falls flat on its face. Is private media, especially these days, the days of the internet, where private media is finding it really hard to survive, is that they survive by getting people to watch them, and they've discovered that getting people angry and outraged is a really effective way of getting people to click on your articles and watch your things. And yeah, and so that's where they've, you know, they create this rage bait, and that is not healthy. And yeah, people's natural inclination is to focus on the negative, because it's the negative that's more likely to screw you over if you don't know about it and you don't be careful of it. So yeah, that's why the media is being the way they are. Yeah, exactly. They cater to what works. And unfortunately, it works for them getting views, but it doesn't work for us as far as getting the real news goes, or getting the full picture. And then there's all sorts of other things that, you know, yeah, yeah. I tend to browse around different sources. There's certain people that I trust to be more more honest, maybe, about their biases, and a little more objective. I think Tim Pool is very good for the US stuff. I actually want to pay a lot more attention to local politics as well, but it's kind of difficult when the US stuff is kind of so out there and dominating the headlines, really. New Zealand stuff doesn't get much of a look in. Yes, Tim Pool. Yep, no, you got it right. Look him up on YouTube. You will recognise him, because I have sent you a couple of videos from him. The main problem with his videos is that he will make like a 40-minute video or something talking about one thing, which can be, I mean, watch the first 5 minutes, you get the idea and that, but not that he's not saying anything for those, you know, for those long videos, but sometimes it can just be a bit much. And yeah, it depends what he's talking about as well, but he creates a lot of content. It's quite interesting when he's talking to other people as well, which he does. He's got a bunch of channels. Yeah, and have a look. He should have a list of his channels somewhere as well, and I would subscribe to all of them. I can help you out with that. I've been following him for a long time. It's been interesting seeing his. I don't know if his, I suppose his view on things has changed to an extent, but I think it's just as more information has come to light, and it's quite good because he doesn't just say stuff and then not back it up with something. Which is, yeah, well, everybody does that to an extent, but yeah, a lot of his stuff is very much, yeah, I don't know. He's very good. It's, yeah, one of the few real journalists left out there that's actually making a bit of a mark. Yeah, no, I think you're very balanced on your views. Not that I'm biased or anything. And so I'd consider myself pretty much a centrist, definitely centre left, but yeah, it can be really infuriating seeing, the way the extremes of both sides can be. But I think one of the more infuriating things is how the extremes on the left are not considered to be a problem. I'm glad you're laughing, it's good. Yeah, text can be a bit of a pain as far as that goes. You lose a lot of context. Look at that, we're getting close. Where's the road? The main road must be around here somewhere. Did lose it though, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, they can be very, this is the way it is, and if you don't think the way I do, then you're a bad person. And you're a bad person, so I'm not going to talk to you. I wonder where that road did go. Well, there's some a term they keep mixing up these days is liberal and progressive, and they are not the same thing. And progressive is definitely the further left, especially these days. I don't know if it was always that way. Whereas, liberals can actually be, you can really, as far as I'm aware, a liberal can go across both sides, and a lot of what sort of the classical liberal, like the sort of the British liberal almost, is kind of libertarian which a lot of people in the US consider libertarians to be on the right. But yeah, really, to me, left and right is not particularly useful these days. It's almost your authoritarian versus libertarian. So yeah, it's a fucking mess, honestly. What was I going to look up? I was going to have a look at the map, see where the road is in relation to me now. What's that? Alright, so if I'm heading there... Interesting. Okay, so yeah, the road is very much north of me at the moment. I think the road is a rough looking terrain that I'm flying over, so there the road avoided that, went up the ridge. Interesting, that would have been a bit of a... So I think... Yeah, I have crossed the Nullarbor now. Nullarbor is no more, as far as I can tell. Yeah, there's some funny videos about how similar the extremists on both sides are, actually. What's really worrying is that how far left the Overton window has moved, so that the extremists on the left don't seem so extreme anymore. Their stuff has become a lot more accepted. How long have we got now? 20 minutes! You can see the road coming back soon as well. Oop. Speak of the devil, but I don't think that's the road we're looking for. Oop. I'll almost certainly go up to it though. Little building over there. What's the wind doing? Oh wow, beautiful tailwind. Beautiful tailwind. Probably afford to lose a little bit of altitude now as well. Because we're still out in the middle of nowhere. God, it really does give you such an idea of how vast this place is, doesn't it? Imagine having to walk it. Early explorers and that having nothing but walking and horses if they were lucky. Yeah. It's like no wonder like the land animals in Australia got pretty good at going fast, like the kangaroos and the emus. Just not what speed an emu can, like, not what their fastest speed is, but what their sort of cruising speed is that they can keep up for a long journey. Still probably a comfortable 30-35 k's an hour that they can just plod along at. Just gently lowering our altitude. Yeah, so that's going to be well over 400 nautical miles that we've travelled today, which is pretty good. Need to hang up some laundry and I'll be off after this. Can see the arrow. Which arrow would that be? Run out of coffee again. Oh yeah, the one in game works because it uses its when I click to look around, it disappears and then it comes back. This is one that is, it's not a normal pointer, it's like one of those in game ones. Yeah, if I click middle click, it gets rid of it, but I can look around and then it comes back and you should be able to see that. But if I'm using the mouse pointer, the Windows pointer, the normal Windows mouse pointer, which is not what this is, then yeah, OBS doesn't, which is my streaming software, doesn't pick up on that one. Picks up on this one okay though, which is good. At least it does that. Zoom this in. Oh, there's a runway right there as well. Certainly, probably not particularly visible from here. Just about 10 minutes. Can't quite see it yet. Slightly hazy feel about this area. And 400 nautical miles. So close, yet so far. Come on. Good. It's nice that that's working. It's weird that should be so different to your phone. G'day, Simon. Yes. I know. Well, the weather is nice. Is it 24, 25 degrees where my mum's living at the moment, which is probably another 4 hours of flying away from where I'm going to land. We've got about 7 minutes left of this flight. It's been a long one. It has been a long one. But look at all this scenery, Simon. Look at it. That's so fucking flat, isn't it? It's crazy. I don't think I ever appreciated how unbelievably flat it was until living in New Zealand for any length of time, really. Oh, another aeroplane somewhere. Just noticed it on there. Yeah, unless this really is the scenery you like. Some people do. Yeah, don't think I'd enjoy living around these parts all that much. $27. Jealous. Be certainly not far off that 28 maximum, eh? It's Thursday today. Doing a wee charity thing on Saturday. I just need to make sure I don't forget about that. Helping out at a barbecue. So that'll be good. Wondering, is that the airfield? Yeah. They do it. I don't know how many times they do it, because there's one they do at a barbecue, there's one they do at a pool. I can't remember if that's each of those once a year or if it's every or alternating years. But I think it is alternating years. And yeah, I generally help out. That's definitely looking like an airfield over there. The end is in sight. The light at the end of the tunnel. Oh yeah, I was going to say that as well. I don't know what the name of the charity is, but it's for foster kids. So yeah. So they have a get together for the kids, and so they have the barbecue, and I'm normally the one on sausage duty, cooking them, and then got somebody else another one or two people that put them in the bread and do the sauce and deal with the kids. So I'm just there on the barbecue, which is fun. I like that. And I'm pretty good at getting them out on time and making sure I don't cook them too soon or too late. A little bit of a balancing act. Aha! Surely that is the runway there. And that is what, 3 nautical miles out. Right, I am going to disengage the autopilot. I'll slow things down a bit. And trim for a bit of nose up. Slow it down enough, we'll be able to put the flaps out. I could put the flaps out now, but you're not supposed to put the flaps out until this gets into the white bar there. If we can slow down, it'd be nice. Here we go. First lot of flaps. Second lot of flaps. Don't like the way it keeps zooming me back in there, but it's all good. A bit more power. I need to lose a little more altitude. I think I'm still way too high. Bring her out. Yeah, I'm way too high. A bit more flaps. I should help drag us down a bit. Did I just put I accidentally put the flaps up instead of down? Right, if I can't slow this down enough and lose enough altitude, we might possibly have to go around, but no, I think we're going to make that okay. Really should have called out my landing as well, but got that set to auto and it decided not to, so nah. Landing in the middle of nowhere as well. Nobody else around. There we go. Now pull her up. Ooh, that's a bit of a rise in the land there. Flaring. And a bit more. There we go, and brakes. Nice. Okay, I don't know why the radio did nothing. Have I got it? Yeah, just tuned to auto. Oh well. We have arrived. Don't think there's anything at the end of that runway. It's really a dusty old field. This is the point at which we find somewhere off the runway to park and then pretend that we went out and got some fuel. Because yes, there is civilization nearby. I saw it. Hell, in real life you probably drive your airplane to the gas station. But yes, time to switch everything off. And we're done. Yeah, it's yeah, things can. It's the excitement at the end of the journey. That's for sure. You know, it's never too sure. Like, oh, I just heard fireworks go off. Yeah, you can get a nasty surprise just as you're touching down, like I did last time. So yeah, that went reasonably well. But yeah. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I shall sign off now. And yeah, for anybody else watching at a different time or a different place, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.